I might have now only 9 days until I have to move into the tiny house, and to say that I am starting to get quite stressed is a little bit of an understatement. I really cannot believe how little progress I've made over the last few days. Even though every single morning I've put in the same amount of time, I just cannot stress to you how much time it's taken to dig this stupid bath area. And it does occasionally feel like I'm digging my own grave, because as you can see, I've had to dig quite deep, because in order to get down to the depth that I need to put the concrete pad stones, you need to dig further down than obviously where the bath is, because from that concrete padstone top there is the best part of 15 centimeters of material to create the base of the bath. So the bath is going to be around the 45 centimeters deep, but obviously I need to dig a lot deeper than that to create all of the foundation and the setup that I need. And I have seen some people saying what I've done is bad, and yeah, for sure there's definitely more proper ways to do things, but this is going to work perfectly for what I need it to. And for the people who said I should have got metal screws and done all of that stuff, yeah, for sure, but this solution costs £5 instead of 500 quid. And if you've watched my videos for a while, you will know that if there's an option for me to save a lot of money, I will do it, and this will work great. And if it doesn't, I will just fix it. It's all good. So today's challenge is to create the remaining pad stones, and from this I can then start to build all of the timber framework, and then it really should start progressing, because I have done a lot of the work and I still see it every single day. People saying, Chris, it's actually impossible for you to be able to move in here. But I don't think you understand. I have no choice. I have to move in here no matter what the conditions are, which I have a feeling is going to be pretty horrific. But nothing was as bad as living in the London project. That place, when I had the entire house acroed up and installing the steels during December 2021, that was disgusting. And then when I was up doing the loft conversion, I fell through the ceiling, and then my entire bed got plasterboard covering it, and about 15 tons worth of slate dust fell onto my bed as well. That was a great laugh. It was definitely worth it, but I mean, anyone who's lived in a building site knows it is not the most pleasant thing, but it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain, and it is always worth it, because, well, unless you earn loads of money, you can obviously rent somewhere else and then do all the works to your house. But in the area that I lived in London, I'd be spending like £2,000 a month renting somewhere else whilst paying the mortgage and doing all of the work on the London project, which would not have been possible because I'm always on the verge of bankruptcy. As I mentioned in the previous video, until the shower and bath area is done, I'm going to be using my local gym, and I think the main priority is to install a temporary toilet and sink, which, if you have done your own renovation project, is something that everybody does. It's very cheap and you buy it for the purpose of throwing it away one day. In fact, I think I've probably got a couple toilets in storage. So that is going to be happening this week, is installing these temporary fixtures just to kind of make life a little bit nicer whilst living there. Because if you are new to the channel and you don't know, I do have a septic tank, I have mains water, I have electricity, and therefore it's super easy for me to kind of fix everything up to that and just create a temporary setup. So please do not watch what I'm doing thinking, Chris, you're doing an awful job of this, your bathroom's going to look rubbish. It is temporary. I also released newsletter number 6 today, and I know a lot of you have already signed up, but for those of you who haven't seen this week's newsletter, it is a really good one. It is going into even more detail about this side hustle that I have done for the last 10 years. It's got zero startup cost, and I did it while sat at my day job. I left my 9-to-5 a year ago, and I also go into a little bit of detail explaining how that has made me feel, because I have really noticed it, and everyone else I know has noticed a change in me since leaving that day job that I truly hated. And if it wasn't for me sticking and persevering with that side hustle, I would not be able to have left my day job and be creating everything that you see right now. So if you haven't, Google Have Some Vision Substack. I've also put a link in the description. Click it, sign up now. Trust me, you will not regret it. Because as I keep saying, a lot of you really want to achieve this sort of debt-free living, and that's an amazing dream to have, but you actually need to start putting in the work. That's kind of the one catch with dreams, is without action, it's just going to remain as that forever. And as I always say, if you do not start making small steps towards your vision, dream, whatever you call it, you will become a bitter, resentful resentful person. It's just a fact. Because in my world, there's more positivity than negativity, but in the world that I used to be involved in, it's kind of like that whole small town, small mind. It's very chicken-like. It's a constant pecking order. And if you dare to do something a little bit different, oh my days, are you going to start to experience some resistance. I mean, I can only talk for myself, but the sort of friction you're going to generate to the people around you when you go, do you know what, I'm bored of this normal life, I want to go for more. You start on that journey and you tell me the sort of responses you get. Do you know, a friend of mine literally yesterday was telling me how he has just finished his kitchen renovation and he had done all of the work himself, and he was flicking through all the photos, and I was going, this is insane. Like, I've got way more experience than you, and I don't think I could do it as good as you've done. And he said that it's so nice to have somebody who gets it and can understand without coming at it from a point of jealousy and envy. And he then explained to me how he had shown that same photo to someone else that he knows, and he said that it was a very weird moment where this person basically just shut off mid-conversation when he realised that the kitchen extension was like really modern and nice, and the person basically from that point on said nothing. And I've experienced that. I had somebody come walk around a house that my brother and me had built, and we're no longer friends with this person, but he literally said nothing the entire time. It was super awkward because you expect people who are close to you to kind of support you. But I mean, there's a lot of you watching this right now who will resonate with this, because it's a very unique thing to experience when you get this sort of resistance, especially because you yourself wouldn't ever do it to somebody else, but that is because you are achieving your dreams. And that is one of the big things with negativity and this sort of resistance, is it only goes upwards, it never goes down. You would never find someone who's achieving more than you say anything even remotely negative towards you. Like a person who's got a ton of experience going to the gym and is in really good shape, they would never belittle you or put you down at the thought of you wanting to get into the gym, just like a millionaire will never take the mick out of you for wanting to start a business. The shots always go upwards instead of down. It's just a fact. The new circle of people that I've got around me nowadays, they have all experienced it on every single level. And you start pursuing your dream and going for it, some people around you are going to start dropping like flies, and it is just natural. Because I think it was some president back in the day who said comparison is the thief of joy. And that is such a true fact, that every human immediately makes a comparison, especially in England where it's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses and all of that stuff. But in that process of making a real quick comparison, you've either got to level up your lifestyle to meet that other person's level, or you're going to have to fall behind. And that is the one thing that I really want to achieve with this YouTube channel, is kind of to make you realise that it doesn't matter what age you are. If you've got 400 quid in your current account, you've made a load of bad decisions in your life, you can turn it around right now. You're just one decision away from doing that. And in my circle of friends now, I have people who have achieved a lot of the most ludicrous things I've ever heard of, like businesses that the chances of them becoming successful are extremely low, but they just sent it, saw what happened, and now one of my friends, he's making 45 grand a month, for Pete's sake. That business, he could have given in to that negativity, the voices that were around him at that time in his life that were saying, yeah, I think you need to be more realistic. I doubt you're going to be able to do any of that stuff. Like, it's really hard to start a business. And I can remember him telling me that he would say to them, yeah, I know it's difficult, but just because something's difficult doesn't mean it's not worth doing. And now to see where he is through his own perseverance and discipline, it's incredible. And if you're thinking, oh, is all the work gonna be worth it? 100%. If it was easy, everybody would do it. It's 2024 in a few days, so make a promise to yourself, set a goal and stick to it. So thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and remember, just sign up to my weekly newsletter. You will not regret it, trust me. And as always, I will see you tomorrow in a bit.